we are live on Friday morning.
So good to be alive, whatever it is.
Alive and live.
Everybody, welcome to another edition of Risk Raiders. Boy, you're lucky if you own a home, own a car, own a business. Even if you just breathe air, you are lucky to be a podcast listener of ours because you are going to learn something maybe about life in general. I am Jeff Shropshire. That's my buddy over there, Brent Borgstedte, who's my co-host in crime. We are two seasoned, insurance, or we're haggled insurance people who own agencies who came together and said, hey, you know what? Let's just teach everybody everything we know about risk management, ways to protect your. Let's give it away. This is not an insurance podcast. This is broader than that. Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about it, but you need to know there's nothing on this podcast that's anything more than information and entertainment. If you need insurance, you need legal advice, you need an accountant, you pick up the phone, call your agent, call somebody who knows you, knows your business. They can help you. We can't help you. We don't know you. And sometimes who knows, right? So you call a professional, you get that taken care of, and I hope you enjoy today's podcast. And okay, so we're going to be talking a little bit about events that happened last week at a sporting event. And by the way, if no one who's involved with any of these stories is related at all to Risk Raiders, we have nothing to do with anybody. We have no affiliations, nothing. Let's just leave that out there.
Hey, I got a couple of things before we start. I want to say.
I want to hear it.
First of all, you use the word seasoned. I think the word marinated might be better here.
Marinated,
and then
basted.
Two, I'm looking at your T-shirt, and I got to tell you a story.
Little throwback to Caddyshack right there, everybody.
Yeah, well, it's kind of funny because when I was at Tech, a couple of my fraternity brothers
who were not affiliated with in any way whatsoever.
Right. When I was at Tech, a couple of my fraternity brothers and I lived in a house out on 54th and Utica, which is funny. Utica was a street, one of our insurance companies. Anyway, but we'd been there a couple of weeks, maybe 3 weeks. One of my roommates' dad actually bought the house, and then we rented it from him. It worked out great. We lived there 3.5, 4 years. I don't know how long we were there, a long time. And as you can imagine, it got pretty crazy. Like, we never even locked the front door. We had a screen door,
right,
and that's all that ever was closed. We didn't lock the door. And so you come home, there'd be people there we didn't even know. And it was like a zoo. Well, after we'd been there a couple months, somebody walked in, there was people everywhere and party over here, party over there, and also going on. And this guy looks around and he goes, it's like Bushwood Country Club. And so that stuck. And from then on out, it was Bushwood. People would say, are you going out to Bushwood this weekend? Yeah.
Oh, that is fantastic. You got to get a shirt.
The house is still there too, by the way. Every time I go to Lubbock, I drive by it because it's just. I'd like to buy that house again, just to go up there and hang out because it's just.
Oh my God, that's what we'll do. We should chip in, buy the house. It's a podcasting house for us. If walls could talk,
permanent studio.
That would be our new office space for Risk Raiders. That would be. Yeah, we'll just call it Bushwood. Bushwoods are us.
Yeah, I couldn't help but tell that story though. When you had the shirt on, it reminded me.
I love it. It's the most comfortable shirt ever, and one of my favorite movies of all time. And those times at Tech are great. So I have to ask you a question real quick before we get into this. I don't know if you have a theory on this or not. What is your position on men wearing flip-flops to sporting events or in airports?
Man, I have to tell you, I'm not a flip-flop guy. And I just think that they're beach only and only from getting from your car to the beach towel.
Not everyday wear, right?
You shouldn't wear them anywhere. I feel like they're good for women.
Yeah.
I don't think, no. I say no to flip-flops.
So here's my challenge. When I'm at a sporting event like I was at, there's like, I guess I don't really notice this as much, but I think this way. But I don't know about you, but when I go into a men's restroom and you're going to decide which wall unit you're going to use, right? What's the number one judge for that?
Spacing.
and then how much poolage is underneath the bowl.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, anything on the floor is going to drive that. But I mean, you also have to think about
Splash, pooling. I've yet to go into an airport or a football game, basketball game, and the floors, I don't know what it is about guys. I don't know if guys just like, just sprinkler system in there or what, but there's a lot of pooling. And even my wife will tell me, like, there's nothing worse than a women's restroom. And I just don't understand
you've
that.
Been in a men's restroom then.
Right.
And then like a rain bird in there, like it
is. And so
like, come on, man.
I had a couple of pops, right? I mean, that's what you do at the game. And eventually, you get older, you got to get rid of them. But you're going in there. I'm standing next to this guy, and, you kind of look everywhere else but, where you can't look.
Right.
And this guy's in his flip-flops, and he's standing in the pool.
Oh, man, you might as well gone in there barefooted.
I'm thinking, no. And I've seen this at airports, too. And here's the thing, guys. If I was a podiatrist, and I'm looking for business, I'm going to every sporting event, and I'm just going to go to airports and walk around, because you will see everything and anything. You'll see your next customer right there. You got the Falcon Italian toe. You've got it looks like somebody literally took a baseball bat and beat their foot up, and then they're wearing it. This deformed mutton of an appendage. And I'd be out there going, hey, here's my card. Here's my card. But I'm like, how can you be this close to everybody else's urine and still feel good about life?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't get that. I feel like I want to go in there with a wetsuit on, right?
I'm looking for the rubber boots. I'm not looking for less boots. I'm more for, I need coverings, right?
Right.
So anyway,
used to call it in school the full body latex.
The body condom. That's what we need.
Whole body thing.
So awful. All right, are we going to get in?
The whole thing is everywhere.
All right, I think we're going to have to get into the lesson of the day, ladies and gentlemen. Brent, if you'll give me just a moment here, I'm going to step away for just 1 second.
Always left me unsupervised, so I can
have
our own talk
but
here.
I feel like sometimes you got to have a visual.
God knows what's coming. I don't. He said he was going to surprise me with something, and I'm like, okay, dude, I don't know.
Okay.
It's oh shit! Look at this. now that is good. Yeah. You're the referee.
There we go. Look at that.
The referee.
I'm the referee.
Everybody doesn't know that in football. The guy with the official with the white hat on.
I'm the guy with the white hat because we had a story this weekend at my football game that has been made some national attention. If anybody's familiar with our Red Raiders, by the way, Brent and I are both alumni and fans. First of all, I want to say this to all the people out there, Wreckham. I don't give a shiz about what side of this story you stand on, okay? So don't be pro-foreign me on all that. And what I'm talking about is this little guy. That little guy right there. That little guy. So we had an issue with this little guy right here. The 1.1 ounce little badass. This is Todd the Tortilla. It's Todd the Tortilla. As you can tell, this little bastard is so dangerous that if you can tell, I'm wearing protective covering.
Yeah.
Because this thing could go in a minute. I
could cut your head right off.
I had Kendra in the office weigh this guy 1.1 ounce. I was like, whoa, I didn't even think it was going to be an ounce. This could kill.
Edges are sharp.
So it's sharp. It's very dangerous. You think, but some people love this, right? But then, then some people, some people don't. Some people don't. And that's okay. We love you all here at Risk Raiders. You can have your opinion, but we had a problem with them. I'm going to flip it over on this one. So we had some allegations, this at the last game about this little guy just like taking off and deciding to, go fly. He decided to do some flying and landed in certain areas, and I'm sure he can be pretty slippery. I can see him be. It kind of scares the hell out of me sitting here right next to him, and I'm trying to see
issues the week before with those two at the University of Houston game.
It's bad. It's bad stuff, man. But I had one. I'm going to see if I can share this with you. I had one that was pretty friendly. He just sat. Yeah, he sat and watched the game with us. He sat and watched the game with us. I didn't get his name. It looked like he was a little, he actually, I think the guy next to me took a bite. I didn't bring him. I don't bring Todd's to the game, but he was with us. He just sat there quietly. I don't know really what all the problem is, but some folks say there's a problem, and that's okay. So we had an allegation involving this guy, right? And then there was another allegation. And with all the hype, when I first heard the story, I didn't listen very good. I thought it involved this guy.
I love the props.
I thought at first, I didn't hear the whole description of what else was on the field or thrown onto the field at the time. So I'm like, damn. This is an upgrade. And I was thinking, boy, the broadcasting team's going to love this. Well, I found out later it was this little guy, this little guy, maybe, right? And then I found out there was this allegation about this. And then I found out later on there was no allegation. I mean, there was no guy. This was somebody else's thing. They came out and said, no, this didn't fly out of the crowd.
You're kidding me. So it ended up there was no pocket knife.
It ended up belonging to somebody on the sideline that fell out of their pocket.
Oh,
but there was an allegation that this guy was flying with this guy. And you know what I'm saying?
Todd was bringing a knife to a
Todd had a
gunfight.
knife fight to a football game, right? And that would make Todd that guy, right? But Todd wasn't that guy. Todd. He was a good guy. But here's what happened though, folks. We had two allegations. One was true. Todd was flying. Todd landed on the field. Todd was breaking rules. I hate it when Todd breaks the rules. If he could just stay in the damn stands. Todd broke the rule. $25,000 fine, Todd. However, in the same story, fake story or unreal story or misunderstood story. We'll go with that. Let's go with misunderstood story. Nothing really happened there. Still, $25,000 fine.
You remember? Oh man, this is going back a long time. It was when we beat.
I'm tired from holding that up. By the way,
I know.
I'm like,
a prop stand. But this is years and years ago when we used to play A&M every year. We were in the same conference with them, and I remember. I don't remember exactly the circumstance. I think it might have been one where Zach Thomas intercepted the pass and went in for a touchdown. We won the game against A&M.
Right.
And then they tore the goalpost down and it got all crazy. But then we offered, there was this kind of a student section for the A&M people, and we offered them the goalpost back as like a souvenir. They were like, well, they shoved it in our face. We were like, no, we're just offering it as a souvenir.
Memento.
And then supposedly one of our fans punched an A&M guy. Well, after all the dust settled, kind of like the pocket knife thing, turns out it was an A&M guy who punched another A&M guy. So it really wasn't our people doing the fighting. It was them fighting themselves. They were upset. I get it. They lost. They came all the way up to Lubbock, and he got
I know.
I'm sorry. Sorry,
Boom.
Sarge, or whatever. I don't know what. They got so many names in there,
There's in the history of some of our lives and college, there's been a lot of allegations thrown around, right? Some of them can turn out to be true, like Todd. Todd flew and landed on the damn field. Come on, Todd. Stay in the stand.
Against the rules now.
It's against the rules now. Now it's going to be, $100,000 fine is what they said. Bad.
Stop doing it.
Yeah. Just that's one opinion. Or again,
I know we differ on this issue.
I don't know where I land on it. And I'm just here. Let me just say, as a fan, I'm only there to be entertained. I don't gamble. I'm not against gambling. I don't gamble. I don't care if my team wins by 1 point or 1,000,000 points. I don't care. Even at that, I want to win, but I want to be entertained the whole time. I'm a child. I want explosions. I want fireworks. I want and they do. My university, this last game, it was the best production from start to fourth quarter I've ever. They have gone to great lengths to make this thing entertaining all the way around, on the field, off the field, and all that. And I have a history with the Todds flying around that I think is a fun thing. Now, I understand the other side of the argument, and I'm not really taking a side because I like the fun. I don't like the rule breaking. There's got to be kind of a memento there, but I'm a spirited guy and I'm entertained. I watch them all the time. You know, where we sit, you're going to find this out if they're still doing it. When they kick off the ball, you can't look up. You just look forward because here they come. And if you look up, you know, if you're with a guest, you go, hey man, check it out. And then somebody always takes a Todd in the eye or something like that. No one's died. And I've never seen anybody slipping on the concourse over Todds. That's the thing. The field down, I've never seen them really project slipperiness, but I'm not getting into that. So
Man, I'll tell you that when you talk about the production of the game, I actually think you're right. Tech's opening sequence, if you will, for the game is I think one of the most impressive in college sports. Now, obviously, we're biased, but man, when I'm telling you something, when Mass Ryder rides onto the field, it's emotional for me. I mean, I can't tell you. It's you know, obviously takes you back, but man, I'm telling you, that's exciting when they come running, when a horse comes running on. It is. Everyone's behind them, and I mean that's big.
You're gonna drop dead when you see what they do. I mean, we have explosions. There's this red explosion of smoke and all this stuff. By the time it's all done, you're just standing there going, "What?" I mean, it is a truly well done production.
I can't wait.
And the Todds, to me, are a part of it. But I get it. I don't want it affecting the game, and I don't want it hurting the team, and I don't want fans pissed on or pissed off about one way or the other. Right. So anyway, but the point of the matter for us here at Risk Raiders is you just saw a perfect example of some of the consequences that can go good or bad for certain allegations, right, that could come place in your life. And so in the world of risk,
due to nothing you can control.
Nothing you can control.
Completely out of your control.
The people who paid the fines did not throw the Todds, right?
Right.
Now, I don't know about how the knife thing worked out, and I'm not getting into that because we'll let whoever figure that out. But somebody paid that fine, and they weren't the ones involved in it one way or the other. But this can happen, you know. This can happen to you as an individual. This can happen, not the tortilla Todd knife throwing. I hope the knife throwing thing is not part of your life, but in your life or in your business, there's certain things and with allegations that can come up that you need to kind of be thinking about. And so, Brent, where would you go with this? If I go, okay, well, what should somebody be thinking about and trying to protect themselves from certain things? If you weren't familiar with this, right, the way that this was originally proved out about the knife maybe not being what they first said it was a video. There was some video. That whole thing is video, and they had some video evidence to support maybe the theory that it was not projected from the fan base, that it was accidentally supposedly dropped on the field or something. Right. So there was evidence for that.
You know, I think it's a good example of why we carry insurance. You know, why you use insurance as a risk transfer device is you don't ever know where these things are going to come from. And other than in your auto insurance, I mean, when you have an auto accident, whether you're at fault, coverage is going to be, you know, it's going to be paid out. There's going to be a payout. But in a lot of other lines of insurance, especially liability, especially professional liability, a lot of times there's not ever a settlement paid. The only thing that the policy provides is for defense against allegations. And so a lot of times the coverage, and we talk about this clients all the time, it's like, well, the policy's not really probably ever going to pay anything out, but you may have several situations where you're going to have to hire a lawyer to defend yourself against false allegations,
right?
Especially in a professional sense. If you're an architect or an engineer or a lawyer or doctor or whatever, people are going to say, hey, you know, you did something that harmed me or harmed my business or whatever, and they're going to sue. And that's when these policies come into play. They go out and hire the attorney for you, and they're going to hire somebody that's got expertise in your field in defending these types of claims or allegations, as we were talking about this morning.
Right.
And it's important. I mean, I think that's really what coverage is for. A lot of times, more than a potential settlement, is to defend you against, you know, wrong, crazy allegations. I mean, they're coming out of the woodwork now. Employment practices stuff and professional liability. I tell clients all the time now that you don't even need a general liability policy hardly anymore. You've got to have professional and employment practices and cyber and all these things that cover these stuff that used to be really ancillary and fringe type stuff. That's where the action is now. That's where we're seeing the claims is in these other lines of business against weird, crazy, outlandish, out of the blue black swan allegations
Right.
that you've got no way to anticipate.
Right. And some of those allegations are false and some of them are true. And the same theory holds in because if you're running a business, you cannot control every single event that goes on with every single employee or every single customer. And sometimes it's just in the process, sometimes when they have that car accident or when you get somebody says, that didn't go right. You have to investigate, you have to look into it, but then the clock kind of starts ticking, right? On trying to figure out, is this a real allegation? Is this false? Whatever. But regardless, it can cost you money and it can cost you some time as well of trying to decipher those allegations being truth or not. Because just in the example that we had, both sides, it cost them some money,
Well,
and it's just kind of goes that way.
and the beauty of having a policy is that you want to handle something like this yourself. If something happens, especially if it's a client and something goes wrong and they perceive that you didn't do something right and they're going to make a professional liability claim, you can't handle that yourself. I mean, you obviously could go hire a lawyer, but this allows you to offload it and let the company take care of it, and they become the intermediary between the client and this situation, and you can go on and continue doing your business. You'd be surprised how many times these things are mitigated and you don't lose the client
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
the company comes in, they hire an attorney or law firm to investigate the claim and check it out. A lot of times they start digging into it and they're like, well, this is not really what happened. This is what happened. And after some discussion and sometimes maybe there's some monies paid without going to court, and it's over.
Yeah.
And the relationship's maintained, and everybody goes on down the road, and everything's okay. But if you try to settle it yourself, it's going to be contentious. It's going to
Yeah.
be
It's gonna be
argumentative, and you're going to break the relationship. If you can offload this to the carrier, a lot of times it's a lot better outcome.
Yeah, and so if you're a business owner out there, and we'll talk a little bit about just individuals, but if you're a business owner, this is where you need to sit down with your agent, maybe sit down with your attorney. And if you're a large company, get your risk manager. If you have one of those people, that is hired or whatever, bring them in and let's talk about all those scenarios that involve individuals, things that where you could, you can do things with policy, insurance policies and procedures is one thing. Training of your staff is a good thing to do on some of these things of noticing, picking up, jumping on things quickly, dealing with things quickly. That's a great way. Being proactive, that helps you an awful lot. If there's certain things you need to do at your business, whether it's legal surveillance, with cameras and things like that, where again, get with the legal professionals of what you can record and what you can't. But certain things like that, there's things with the insurance policy and proactive things you do that can really help, give you some actions to where if you have to either defend yourself, prove one way or the other, you have something, right? The whole idea is to try to have something to help. With this university having cameras on the field, who would have thought you'd be having to try to scam to look and see
Right.
how in the world would you figure that out if 60,000 people there in a pocket knife, comes flying. I don't know. But anyway,
It's crazy.
no, but it's smart, right? I mean, that was a smart thing to do. Great investment. I mean, who would have thought that out?
Well, you said something a minute ago about bringing people in and doing some proactive risk management. We had a situation this week resolve that's a great example we're talking about here of a client. One of our largest clients had some work comp claims, not a ton, but just in the course of their business, they'd had some pretty high value claims where employees were injured, and it was a place to they do some ladder work, and anyway, that's not the issue. We told them at the end of last year, we're like, man, we really got to do something about loss control and this laddering thing because they're starting to have some issues, and it's going to get difficult. In fact, they got non-renewed, and we had to move their work comp, and it was difficult placement. So they literally went out and hired a new HR person that had some background in their industry. And this lady went to work. And I mean, I'm not joking,
Oh,
went to work and rewrote all her policies and procedures and did a lot of active management of what was going on. And as you've said before, they had a loss control, which, as you've described accurately, as a colonoscopy of our industry, which I think is accurate. But they had the new carrier, the new work comp carrier, did a big time loss control inspection of their whole operation, and came back this week, got the loss control report, and they had no recommendations. Which
so how congratulations on that, man. That's a great
man,
job you're doing for your client, and that's great for them being proactive.
I told the client, I said, we don't see that really ever.
Well, and it's hard because,
review comes
yeah, it's a
back with no
threshold that,
recommendation.
no, it's not. And
I mean,
those guys are, and I
I
think
feel like they get fired if they don't make some recommendations like
well,
of some sort. I tell clients all the time, put an expired fire extinguisher by the door so they can find something really quick and write that down.
just to
Oh,
say,
it had expired. Expired.
I've personally had good experiences with insurance companies, loss control. No one likes going through the
No one likes it.
process, and no one likes it. But I will tell you that just in the professionals I've dealt with on the side, because we're the middleman when we're in our other businesses, and we understand the customer's view but I will say that it can be like that. It can be a perfect marriage if
Right.
you're a business owner and you're open to trying to make sure that in a lot of, because they can help you find to do things that don't cost you a lot of money. That's the great thing.
They're glad to help. I mean,
And
they really,
and they
obviously
really are.
have an interest, but
They're glad to help, and really, it's a whole service that you're really paying for with your premium that you should take advantage of.
absolutely be
I would,
open to it. It's not a bad thing,
no,
and
it's
they'll
not. And
come out and they send really highly trained risk control people that know how to look at your business and say, "Hey, these are some things you should be doing to because you don't want your people to get hurt. Nobody wants that."
no, and there's and your agent usually has and can get you as well a whole plethora of information. So be in contact. This is why working with an agent hand in hand instead of just once or twice a year is really important. So get your guy or girl involved and say, hey, you know what? I'd like to pursue something that they'll help you. A lot of them are just dying to help because that's what they really want to do when you're in this profession. This is what you really want to do with clients. I would throw in real quickly on for our folks that maybe not own their own business but have a home and things like that. A good thing for you to do is to consider get your homeowner's policy out review. Make sure that you have things like personal injury protection. That used to be kind of thrown in. Now I'm starting to see it added on separately, and those are things for libel, slander, wrongful detention. It can be somebody. You think somebody's messing around the alley, right? And let's say you hold them at, I don't know, gunpoint, or you restrain them until the police come because you don't know who they are. They're milling around. Police come, they find out it was the utilities guy or it was a contractor. It's all okay. But then they get mad that you called the police and things can get all crazy. Your homeowner's policy, there's a way, get with your agent, talk about personal injury and things like that. And then talk to some local professionals if you want some cameras outside your house, where you can put those, how they are. There's just certain things you can do, like this crazy little incident, that it's not expensive, but you're going to be glad you did it, right?
That personal injury endorsement, a lot of people don't realize how much exposure we've got now for that because people comment online or do a review or say, I hate that guy, or whatever, I don't like that product or whatever. They're getting sued for libel and slander, like you said, and it's happening.
Right. Right.
And so that personal injury endorsement's important. And it's one of those $20 endorsements that you will wish you had, and you need to check it out. Because people, if you're active online, or even if you're not that active, but if you go on to like your neighborhood is, what do they call that thing? Neighborhood site,
The watch neighbor.
no, that one local. Anyway, there's all kind of local neighborhood sites. But if you go on there and say, hey, my neighbor is a jerk, and what? Well, guess what? Your neighbor might take offense to that.
Yeah.
And you're going to have an allegation coming your way.
So, well, Yeah, it's just best to restrain. Don't if you don't know for sure, don't have an opinion on it. But
Right.
anyway, those are some solutions we thought today we would try to combine with our favorite season and our favorite sports season. And speaking of that,
man, it's time to talk about it. I mean, we're 6-0, and we're gonna play Arizona
6-0.
State. They've got their quarterback back. I'm a little nervous about the game. I have to tell you, it's on the road.
It's hard.
You're in a different
Hard to
time
win on the
zone
road.
out there, and there's all kinds of weird things out there in the desert. To trip you up. I mean, they've got like weird rocks and crystals, and I don't know what's going on out there. It's crazy. And
Well, it's so damn hot. I mean, there's got to do something to your thinking up there. I mean, it's 120.
There's got to be some oxygen deprivation going on. I mean, the whole thing, it's a trap.
I'm not really even sure that Todd could survive.
I don't know if Todd makes the trip.
I don't know if Todd can survive in those sorts of conditions. He may just burst into flame or something like that.
Do they have tortillas in Arizona? I don't even know.
I don't know. I'm not allowed in the state, but we'll talk about that on another episode.
I love that.
Oh, no.
I've only been out there one time. I went out there for a company thing one time in Scott. Oh no, we've been there a couple times.
Yeah, we've been there. We're going again.
Oh, we're going in November. That's right.
We're going there. So hey, we're going to be in the Scottsdale area sometime in November. It'll be.
We're going to do a live podcast.
We're going to be there from any. Yeah, we'll be there on the Hot Rock.
Yeah, we'll have some of our CAA pals on.
Yeah, it'll be a good time. Good time. I'm looking forward to that. Well, hopefully, Red Raiders go out, win, cheer properly, have a good time. Man, I hope it's a good game. What time is it going to be?
Oh man, I'm excited about it.
Is it like at midnight out there? Is that a night game?
It's 3:30 in the afternoon. I don't know what time it is here. I think that's 3:30 Mountain. I don't know. I'm not sure.
I'm going to have to do some math or have somebody do it for me. At least I'm not going to be up at 2 a.m. watching the end of a game.
No, it's not a night game. It's an afternoon game, but I don't know exactly what time it starts. So I'll definitely be watching those. So,
you bet.
Looking forward to it.
We'll be a little chatting back and forth a little bit.
Yeah. Guns are up already. I mean,
all right, Red Raiders, go out, have some victory, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching this episode of Risk Raiders. We hope to see you next time on our next podcast.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in.